Governor Trudeau has been replaced by another weak leftist, Mark Carney, as Prime Minister of Canada. These people never learn.
In first place, the next Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, with 131,674 votes, resulting in 29,457 allocated points, representing 85.9%.
We have an election? I don't know. Maybe they had like a party vote or something? What about Pierre? I think that, so my understanding is that Trudeau is stepping down, but that doesn't mean that like this guy just goes on forever. He's just stepping down and this guy is serving until the next election. That's what I would assume, right? So I think it's happening? Yeah, okay. Good for him. So he won the Liberal leadership race, is now the Prime Minister of Canada. Only in Canada can an unelected private citizen with 3 passports be chosen as the country's leader. So much for democracy. It is kind of weird how that happened. I mean, like, I don't know. I guess somehow he got elected at some point. What is this here?
There's a fever gripping America. And while it rages, Canadians will remain resolute and true to our values. While America engages in a war on woke, Canadians will continue to value inclusiveness.
Sorry, guys.
There's a fever.
Maybe Trudeau was like, I'm going to step down and have this guy take over. And then they're going to want me back. They're going to wish they had me back. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, DEI administration, let's go. Yeah, sorry, guys. We'll try to invade you as soon as possible, okay? It might take us a little while to, to come up with the justification, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, why you look like Bush, though? Does he look like Bush? I see what you mean, but not really. And, let's see, what's this?
Lots of media.
Friendly media.
No, I do. No, God, no.
The ones that are here invited.
Look, I'm doing no media at this one.
Can we sit down and I'll make a time with you and answer some actual tough questions?
You can make a request for a meeting and...
So you can deny it.
Oh.
I never do.
I understand. My one question is, can the Canadian oil and gas sector survive the net zero approach that's being promoted here?
As I said, I never do. If you want an interview with me, like everybody else, you make a request and we can have an interview.
And will you accept that?
Like everybody else, if I can fit it in, okay?
How do you justify how does the UN climate envoy justify the massive carbon footprint here today to set this up, this fake city for a week event? How did you
He's
get
not
here?
really that popular.
Did you fly?
I'm seeing that.
You walked?
Yeah.
Did you come on a private jet?
Of course not.
No, so how do you justify this? Look at all of this. For 1 week event, the carbon footprint is huge. Don't you think that's a bit hypocritical?
Oh, drop it.
No?
Drop it.
Drop it? Yeah, drop it because it's true. You're telling everybody they have to pay more money for everything, but you're doing these extravagant, lavish events all around the world. In an age where you can just go on the internet and just be connected to somebody. But no, you can't do this on Discord. You have to spend millions of dollars in order to do this.
Look, there's lots of progress being made. But look, I'm not doing a stand-up interview, okay?
Why not? You're walking that way anyways. I think people around the world, they say regaining trust. That's the whole purpose.
I do lots of media.
Friendly media.
No, I do. No, God, no.
The ones that are here invited.
Like that.
Look, I'm doing.
We had
somebody like that.
Can we sit down and I'll make a time with you and answer some actual tough questions?
You can make a request for a meeting and.
So you can deny it.
Look, as I say, with everyone else.
Look, as I say, yeah. Of course, I'm going to deny
Do
it.
the same thing as with the guy from True North.
Yeah,
I do think the guy's being a bit aggressive, so it's like kind of an example of like kind of two assholes. But overall, I mean,
Oh,
You know, if you're a politician,
he's
you got
a
to
good
deal
guy,
with
but
that.
He's a good guy. I'm sure you're a good guy.
Yeah,
as
he
well.
doesn't deny that
All
he'll
people
deny.
are good.
Yeah.
It's absolutely right.
But the whole world is looking at this now, going, "You're a pack of hypocrites, and you're at the top of the chain."
Is that being pushy? Yeah, he is.
What would you answer people? Just give
He's
me
being
one
pushy.
answer to the people. Take care, sir.
Oh man. Man.
You have just heard from my colleagues what we stand for as the Liberal Party. The Charter, healthcare, childcare, opportunity. We have made this the greatest country in the world. And now,
Well, that'll be true whenever the US takes it over. Yeah, that'll be true.
and now our neighbors want to take us. No
Yeah.
way. No way.
No way.
This party
Oh jeez.
has more than quadrupled its membership in the past 2 months. More than 300,000 members.
Well, yeah, because everybody wanted to
United
vote to figure out who's going to run the
with one
country, right?
purpose.
Probably that's what I would assume.
Which is to make Canada even greater. Pour tous les Canadiens et Canadiens. You have just heard from my colleagues.
No
what
one
we-
knows what that means. I think that's like gibberish or something. I think he's speaking in Canadian there. Let's see here. And he's talking about net zero. What is this?
Skepticism about ESG labels or sustainable labels, and that again is one of the reasons we're having this ruthless, relentless focus on net zero, because in the end, look, we can't stabilize the climate unless we get to net zero, and it's a simple, these are hard numbers. Your emissions are either A or B, they're going up or down, and if they're going down, are they going down consistent with the science? We anchor it in the science, the same science the UN and others use for the 1.5 degree objectives. Skepticism about
Man, I don't know what to think. Is head of Brookfield's $10 million global transition fund aimed at investments to accelerate transition to net zero. He has a financial. He doesn't even say whether he has or not. I don't know about that.
There's increasing urgency. Climate change is an existential threat. We all recognize that. There's increasing urgency around that. But the converse of that, the flip side of that is if you're taking steps, making investments, coming up with new technologies, changing the way you do business, all in service of reducing and eliminating that threat, you're creating value. And what we have seen increasingly, spurred initially by the Sustainable Development Goals, accelerated with Paris, and then through social movements and others and governments acting, is society is putting tremendous value on achieving net zero. So the companies and those who invest in them and lend to them, who are part of the solution, will be rewarded. But those who are lagging behind and are still part of the problem will be punished. Climate change is an existential.
Man. Uh-oh. Canada is so cooked.
Sneaky. And now our Liberal friends, after they've caused all this damage, are going to pull a sneaky trick tonight. They're going to try to get elected for a fourth term. By replacing Justin Trudeau with his economic advisor, Mark Carney. Carney's advice drove up tax.
He sucks.
Carney's advice drove
Carney sucks.
up taxes, housing costs, and food prices, while he personally profited from moving billions of dollars and thousands of jobs out of Canada to the United States. Working for Trudeau, Carney made Canada weaker and poorer. Working for himself, Carney made the United States richer and stronger. And for the first time in our history, Canada will have a sneaky prime minister with millions of dollars of financial interests that go directly against our national interest. And make no mistake, Donald Trump will have a big smile on his face as he exploits all of Carney's many conflicts to attack Canadian workers and Canadian jobs, but we Conservatives won't let either of them do it. We will put Canada first.
I mean, I'm going to be real. Like, if I was a Canadian, I'd be voting for this guy. I'm an American, so, you know, like, it's not really up to me. But, like, if I was a Canadian, like, because he's right. How can you trust somebody who has a bunch of vested financial interests overseas? That's a great point. Yeah, he's right. This could be solved by annexing Canada. I think that we might have to, honestly. Just to help them out. Yeah, I mean, it might have to happen.
We are slow to anger and quick to forgive.
We saw this before, never mind. Yeah, freedom's incoming. Yeah, Canadians are now, as I said, guys, future Americans. Future Americans, that's it. And the Canadian Liberals don't care. It's a cult drunk on their own Kool-Aid. I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like these kinds of people that get into this stuff, potential conflicts of interest, opacity of his accounting practices, very deceptive presentation, circular flows of cash. So this guy's like some kind of like scammer? Like, I don't know. Well, I guess I'll probably know more about this tomorrow because I don't really know a lot about this guy. But, man. 40% of politicians here have residential investment properties during a housing crisis. Doesn't matter who it is, as Canadians were cooked. Maybe, but like, I don't know. As soon as Donald was elected, Carney moved one of his multi-billion-dollar investments to New York to save on taxes. Is that true? Wait, as soon as Donald was elected, Carney moved one of his multi-billion-dollar investments firm from New York, to New York to save on taxes. Wait a minute. So this guy who's now there's no way this is true. Do not tell me that the guy who's now the Prime Minister of Canada moved, and it was in Canada before then, right? And he moved it from Canada to the United States. No. No. The board moved it? Oh, right. The board moved it. Grok? No, there's no way. Let me see. Carney move, I don't know. How do you actually... yeah, there we go. Carney move investments firm to New York after Donald Trump. There's no way this is true. Brookfield's move from Toronto. The asset manager's relocation unveiled last year. There's no way.
The opposition Conservatives say Mark Carney is lying about his role in the relocation of a major Canadian company's head office to the United States. Brookfield Assets Management moved its headquarters to New York to expand its opportunities in the U.S. Carney was the chair of that company until he resigned to seek the Liberal leadership. Carney insisted the move was approved after he left the company, but the timeline and the paper trail show that Carney played a key role in the relocation before his jump to politics. The CBC's JP Tasker joins us now to walk us through this particular controversy. So JP, a lot of complex components to this. Help us explain this. Why the controversy here?
Yeah, so Mark Carney, of course, as you know, helped steer two G7 economies through some turbulent times, and he got a lot of praise for his work doing that. But beyond praise, he got some job offers, and that included chairman of the board of Brookfield Asset Management, one of the country's largest investment firms that has a lot of money tied up in infrastructure, in green climate-related investments, a lot of real estate. And he's
so is he one of these guys that talks about a lot about how much he wants to save the environment while he does things that are just basically to make more money? Oh, man. Oh, jeez.
Facing some scrutiny for some of the decisions that the board took when he was chairman of that company, including the board's decision to move the company's head office from Toronto to New York. A move that was made, the company says, because they wanted to have more access to U.S. capital, to American investors. They felt the best way to expand their operations was being based in New York. Carney was asked about that move last night. Here's what he said about his role.
I was chair of Brookfield Asset Management. I ceased to be chair on the 15th, I think, of January, when I announced for leadership. The formal decision of the board, happened after I ceased to be on the board. I do not have a connection with Brookfield Asset Management. No longer have a role, obviously, as I resigned in the middle of January.
But we have company documents that were filed in October that show the board made the decision to move the head office from Toronto to New York in October of last year. And they released.
So if it was October of last year and he left in January, January would have been after Trump got elected. If people buy this?
A statement to their investors at the time, and it reads pretty definitively, Brookfield Asset Management has now changed its head office to New York, dated October 31st, not in January, as Carney suggested in that clip. That's led the Conservatives to accuse Carney of misleading
They're
Canadians.
so biased? Well, yeah. I think this... I think that because the reason why is that you think a decision like this just happens out of the blue? Do you think that these guys that are running this multi-billion-dollar company didn't have a plan A and a plan B? You think they never even discussed moving the company over to the United States? Like, yeah, this is a massive endeavor. It's a gigantic endeavor, and it's hilarious. Yeah, exactly. And so the problem is that it's playing on people's lack of understanding of an internal process like this. So basically, he's betting on people being too stupid to understand that something like this takes a long time. So he's just going to say it, and then, well, you know, most people will just listen because it's like, technically this is true based off of the dates. It probably takes years of planning. Well, it's not even years. Yeah. Do you really think this guy never thought, if Trump wins this, if Trump loses that? This is a guy that runs a fucking investment firm. Do you think he doesn't think about all they do is think about hypotheticals? Yeah. I don't even know what to say. We have somebody who's unhappy. Give me a minute. Dude, please stick to gaming content. What did I say that's not true? I mean, if you like the guy, that's okay. I mean, if you can like the guy, you're allowed to like him. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's just like, I mean, you don't even have anything that you really... You're biased and nod your head to it. I don't even care for Trudeau or Libs, but this ain't it. How am I biased? What am I biased towards? Yeah, you have to explain the bias, right? Like, just telling me that I'm biased. You're biased because you don't agree with them? Yeah. It's just, it's yeah, I just explain yourself. Like, it's easy. Like, what's the bias? It's like watching political ads sponsored by the opposition and then being like, oh yeah, great points there. Well, yeah, like yesterday, for example, when I said AOC was doing a good thing by reducing like credit card debt to 10% or credit card interest rates to 10%. Yeah, I think that there are often times where people that you don't agree with ideologically still make good points. So I don't understand, like, so there's not even anything that I'm saying that's wrong. You just don't like that I'm criticizing this person. I totally agree that this credit card should be, yeah, exactly. So it doesn't matter who's saying it. Do you think that this guy is engaging in dishonest behavior by saying that he didn't have a role in the company? Do you think that he didn't have a role in the company moving to the United States? Do you think that he's engaging in it or not? It's very simple. Like, is he or not? We'll let him. We'll get through this. It's okay. We're gonna be fine. Dude, you don't understand English? Did he call you biased, or did he say he just didn't want me to talk about the issue because he thinks that I'm, like, I basically, and this is the thing, right? Is that people that say something like this never actually have. There's like never any real thinking behind any of this. It's just basically somebody's hearing something that they disagree with, And after a while, they just have to like, oh yeah, it's a trick question. No, it's not. I mean, like, what do you think? Guys, the probability of this guy having a role in the company moving over to another country, this is a massive company. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. They're making decisions like this, and they're charting like different courses for like, depending on what happens, they're charting courses like this a year in advance at the least. So the entire premise of him saying that is so just obviously dishonest that the only people that get convinced by it are people that want to believe it and people who are stupid. That's it. Like, and I think it's very fair to say that. And that's, see, this is, yeah, there's no response, nothing like that. Because you know it's bullshit. Yeah, so why wouldn't they have gotten his input at the time they reviewed making this move? Yeah, of course they would have. You just pull up dumb people, bro? Okay. Did I just do that? I mean, yeah, because a lot of the people that say that you pull up dumb people, and then I pull them up, I don't know what that says. Yeah. See, people like this always like to have opinions, but then when they have to explain themselves, it always just totally falls apart. I think that really, like, there's plenty of people... Oh, he did respond. Give me a minute. What the fuck? I just posted. It's not here. Just press, like, shift and then up arrow key. It should post the same thing again. Yeah, it got filtered. Yeah, your message just got filtered. Just try and type in it a different way. I agree, pull up dumb people because they make dumb arguments. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this, I mean, like, and to be fair, you're right. Like, I mean, if I say that a person like this is going to, like, anybody who would be debating this topic at this point would be categorically stupid. Like, really. I mean, anybody who's ever worked, like, how many companies do you know that make decisions on moving to another country in 3 months? How many of you guys work at a company that takes longer than 3 months to make a decision or 4 months to make a decision? Zero, right? Zero. Everybody knows it's zero. So, like, just categorically, by being a person who's disagreeing with this, I actually need to use the bathroom. As opposed to, I think he did respond. Give me a second. Let me read this. For example, not caring about your father's powers is totally fine. You're talking about geopolitical issues. You have to consider that if everyone in such attitude, such deals can never be made. Yeah, I think that's true. And deals like that always get broken. They do, constantly. If you look at history, history is littered with deals that were broken. Current convo, Shelter in Ukraine, not understanding broader context of the world. How the U.S. breaks with the mold they create over years. Yeah, I know, but I disagree with the mold. I think the mold of the U.S. being the international peacekeeper of the world is bad. And I think it's a waste of our resources when we have people that are poor and can't afford health care. I understand the premise. I disagree with it. I don't want to do that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. That's not the point. It is, ultimately, though. Let me see here. And consider that U.S. wanted to be the school hall monitor of the world. I know. Yeah, I know that we did want to do that. And I think that we do that through the military-industrial complex, which is something that was warned about by Dwight D. Eisenhower in, like, the 50s. So, yeah, no, this has been something that... no, I disagree on the entire premise of it. It's not that it's just straight up. I completely ideologically disagree with this. He's saying that they created the flaw? They did. But, like, how do you ever move past that? You have to eventually move past it by not doing it. Anyway, let's go back over here.
About his role in moving this office. Have a listen to Michael Barrett. He's the Conservative Party's ethics critic.
That's fine.
Last night, Mark Carney lied to Canadians. Donald Trump asked companies to move to the United States. And what was the response from Mark Carney? It was to immediately support and to his board unanimously voting to move their headquarters from Canada to New York City, not standing up to Donald Trump, not protecting Canadian interests, Canadian investment, Canadian jobs, not even modeling good behavior.
The Carney campaign has released a statement since the Conservatives were out on that. They do not, though, address the disparity in the office move timelines, but we can bring you a bit of what they're telling us this afternoon. Let's put it up on the screen for our viewers so we can show them this. They say Pierre Poilievre is scared of running against Mark Carney, and he's desperate to misrepresent Mark's serious experience in business because he has no economic experience whatsoever.
Yeah, he's lying.
Brookfield Asset Management remains one of the largest investors in Canada. It continues to list on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and its parent company, Brookfield Corp, continues to be headquartered in Toronto. So the parent company still in Toronto, David, but the asset management division, that has moved to New York, and that happened on Carney's watch.
Okay, so the moves happened prior to him getting into politics, and the move happened prior to Donald Trump getting elected, despite Trump being mentioned in all of this, to get access to these U.S. indexes. Beyond this being a paper transaction of a corporate headquarters relocation, why does this matter? What are the implications for jobs, for Canadian tax revenue? What's the bottom line here?
Well, it's prestigious for Canada to have the head office of a major firm like this. You know, Brookfield is a point of pride for Canada. It's a major corporation. All of its various divisions represent about 10% of the Toronto Stock Exchange. So it's a loss for Canadian business and corporate Canada for this office to be moved to New York. They're suggesting that they'll have more success by being stateside. But in terms of the practical implications of this, David, it's not entirely clear, because when Brookfield Asset Management announced these changes back in October, they said that there would be no meaningful effect on its operations. Now, we asked the corporation today,
then why would they do it?
Does that mean there were no job losses as a result? You say there was no.
Why would they move if there was no effect? It's again, like, who believes this shit?
Meaningful changes to the corporate operations, but does that mean anybody lost their job? And that is not clear because Brookfield is not getting back to us. They have not responded to any of our requests for comments. You mentioned taxes. There is the possibility that this could have some tax implications as well, although it's not entirely clear. We did speak to one expert today who watches the stock market, who watches Brookfield and other companies and familiar with these sort of transactions, and he says it's a possibility that there are tax implications, that perhaps they will pay American taxes, pay less taxes in this country, but he doesn't have an inside look on it, and Brookfield's not getting back to us, so we can't say definitively one way or the other. But either way, the Conservatives trying to raise the point that Carney's all about the economy, but when he had a chance to move a company, he did it.
Okay, JP, appreciate you reporting. That's the CBC's JP Tasker here in Ottawa. Thank you, sir.
Hard to know if this is true, but I would say it's probably 99% chance it is. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, guys. I don't think the U.S. going into turtle mode will not change how the poor are treated in your country. There's been many changes to change it. I think most got voted down. It feels, I feel like it's much of a me culture. Everybody wants to be rich. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. I want the government to act in the best interest of me. That's true. My goal, like, and what I want is I want the government to just do what I want it to do. Yeah, like me as an American, like America first. Yeah, exactly. Like, I understand, like, if you're not an American, you might not agree with America first. In the same way that, like, I think that Pierre guy, right? I mean, like, definitely not. I would feel like as an American, it seems like this new guy is kind of good for us. But that's not who he's supposed to represent. He's supposed to represent Canada, not America.